Hey guys, it's Tony with Backwoods Biker Magazine and Wood Tramp Outdoors. Since the first time that we ever introduced you to the Ultimate Survival Tips MSK1, we have had a lot of conversation, a lot of emails, all kinds of things, messaging, and people asking about an update. Well, I've got an update for you that's going to excite you, so hang tight. All right, guys, welcome back. First of all, just to reintroduce you to this from, we're just going to call it UST, short for Ultimate Survival Tips, so I don't keep on saying that. But this was the original MSK1 that was sent to us, I think, in 2017 to be featured in our 2018 gear review expeditions. And I carried this with me for about 6 months on my side. When we dropped the video and we wrote the articles, there were several people, many, that had something derogatory to say. A lot more were applauding the knife that actually had it in their hand. But I wanted to just say a couple things here. Number one, for those that had something negative to say, either on the YouTube channel or through emails or messaging us or leaving it on our website. We did a little research, and probably 95% of those people that had a gripe didn't even own the knife. They were parroting some of the stuff that this individual had put out on YouTube. The guy was just a hater on the knife for all the wrong reasons. We felt like this was such a great design, great materials, well thought out, and a superb performer that it was in the top 5 knives and was nominated for the 2018 Knife of the Year. It's a great knife, and I will tell you a couple things, that we're going to be able to address today. Number one gripe on this was the price. It was almost $400, and a lot of folks, if they can't afford something, they complain about it, which isn't cool as far as I'm concerned. The price was high, but as I've said, you get what you pay for, especially when you're talking about a knife. This is a lifetime knife that can do a lot of work. The second gripe that people gave to it was the fact that it was made out of D2 steel. D2 has been out for quite a while. And when D2 was first introduced to the knife world, they were still working out a lot of bugs. And the steel in some of the products, some of the knives, some of the blades was quite brittle. And they broke, they chipped. And what David did, the designer of this knife and the owner of the company, he fattened up the body on this to make sure that he got away from that. And we've chopped with this knife, and if you see our video, one of our videos, we actually chopped down a 5-inch small tree with this. It took us a little while because it's not an axe. And that was one of the gripes that the guy said, that David said it chopped like an axe, and it was just a marketing guffaw, if you would. He retracted that very, very quickly and contacted us and said, I misspoke on that, when I said it chops like an axe, but it does chop like a boss, and it does. But that was the second thing, was the D2 steel, David told me that he was going to go back to the drawing board because of some of the complaints. People couldn't afford it. They didn't like the D2 steel. And there were a lot of tactical applications that this would not fit in because of the D2, which can rust on you when you are out in a survival situation, or especially if you are an operative, if you are in country around salt water or just water period, you know. So a lot of guys kind of shied away from it because of that reason. I mean, if you're out in an AO and, you know, you're an operative, you don't want your knife to be, you know, going bad on you, getting rusty or anything like that. So, you know, I contacted David, I don't know, maybe about 6 months ago or something, said, hey, you got anything else coming down the pike? And he said, well, be on the lookout. And lo and behold, he contacted me again and said he had some knives that he was going to launch. And about that time, we was receiving some requests from a unit out in 29 Palms, California, Marine Corps unit. Some of the guys are subscribers to the magazine. They said, hey, you know, we hear that there is a new knife out by Ultimate Survival Tips. Have you seen it? So I reached out to him, and we started our conversations all over again. And a lot of the things that you as the subscribers said was a concern to you, he absolutely has answered the bell. So with that being said, I'm going to put this down here. This is the original version. I don't know which number knife this is, you know, but it was early on in the production, you know. And again, a great knife, but not everybody can afford a $400 knife. So David answered that call and has done this. Look at this. This is the new MSK1 Primitive. Comes in this great looking antique sheath, leather sheath. Perfect, you know. And when we saw this, I thought, man, you know, how do you, whenever you put them side by side, I mean, these jokers, this is the same knife. And he calls it the Primitive. And for those of you that didn't want to spend $400 for a knife, this knife comes in regular price $199.99, and it is currently on sale on his website for only $149.99. How's that happen? Well, first of all, the steel is different. It's not D2. And by the way, he's gotten totally away from D2 steel, by the way. He no longer uses that in his knives. This particular one happens to be made out of 1075, which is a close relative to 1095. Very, very similar. And the company that he has building these for him is offshore in El Salvador. And when I saw it and I heard that it was 1075 and I saw this dope sheath, it said MSK, you know, Condor all over it, you know. And for those of you that may poo-poo Condor knives, you know, 10 years ago, Condor wasn't doing anything that was worth carrying on your side. But new ownership, new tooling, everything new that they've done. Condor is putting out some great knives. We have did some reviews. As a matter of fact, the Matt Graham version of one of their Primitive knives was the commercial knife of the year, you know, production knife of the year in 2019, I think it was. So here you have a knife that is 1075 steel, and it is the same exact features. I mean, I don't know how he makes it this cheap. You know, 1075 is quite a bit cheaper than the D2, but, you know, coming in at $149.99 on this knife is crazy cheap, especially when you consider that this knife has all the same features of this knife. I'm going to keep jumping back and forth on this because, you know, one of the reasons that you have a knife that is $400 when you look at it here, it's just not the D2 steel, but it is the absolute design. It was made here in the USA, and I think Freeman Knives is who was making these for him. He did all the design, and they actually did the tooling on the knife. But it's just not the D2 steel, and it's just not the fact that it is a larger, heavy-duty knife. But every feature that you see here will drive up the price on a knife. You know, if it was just a slab piece of steel and just G10 scales or rubberized dipped, You don't have very many features to talk about. But this knife from David at UST is chock full of so many features. I want to put up this graphic for you up here so you can see all the features while I'm talking about them. And you know, this is the reason why this knife has been applauded by so many different people, especially survivalists, professionals that are outdoorsmen, and a lot of guys that are both current and former military. You know, so while you look at that, you know, we'll just go around. We're going to start with the clip point. That really isn't too much of an outstanding feature, but it's just one of them that he points out. It's got a rugged coating. The primitive that I just showed you has a clear coat coating on it. It's made out of 1/4 inch thick 1075 steel. It has a high performance raised spine on it. The jimp thumb ramp is very, very comfortable. Never have had an issue with that, feeling like it was going to burn or create a hot spot, no matter what work that we were doing with it. The natural feel of the grip is true. It fits well in anybody's hand. On the inside, it has a true survival kit. Now, you've heard me say before, many survival kits give you a mini chance of survival. But the survival kit that he puts in these, especially the upgraded version that you have with the primitive and all the knives that have just come out, is truly a formidable mini survival kit when you consider it goes into the handle of this knife. And I will show you that kit. Let's keep on going down. The slotted handle anchors are very stout, and it's going to keep your knife from ever coming apart. And if you'll notice, it has 3 lashing holes where you can lash this to a staff of some sort and create a monster weapon with a spear. It has a lashing, a lanyard hole in the bottom. And, you know, I've always talked about the importance of a lanyard. It's got a flared handle end with a tapered pommel on it. And in that pommel, there's a fire striker, if you can see down there, and it works very well. Also, very unique to his knife, he uses a stainless steel bow drill divot. So if you're doing a bow drill, you know, here you go. You've got a stainless steel bow drill divot that is reversible for left or right hand. The finger guard right behind the choll area is very, very tough, and it has a nice feature to it. Whenever you're holding it, it doesn't push your fingers back. It doesn't cramp your fingers. It's very comfortable. And again, it's got an oversized finger choll so you can choke up on the knife and do some finer tasks. It has a very, very fine edge on it. It's sharp, it's tough, it's durable, and it's very easy to maintain in the field, especially this 1075. And he calls the belly on it a medium belly, very versatile. You can chop with it, you can skin with it, you can split, you can slice, everything, you know. This is good for building shelters, building traps, doing sniper lays. There's a lot of things that you can do with a knife like this. And it has a center-lined tip point, and it has a very, very keen edge, easy to sharpen. It's a flat grind. It's just one of those knives. Now, again, on the $400 version, you had all these features, and now with this $149 version, you get the same exact features. So, for those of you that were adverse to spending $400 for a knife, you can reach out to UST, David out there, and you can order one of these knives. But I've got to tell you, he makes these in small batches. He has these made in small batches, and they are going very, very fast from what I understand. This knife in my hand feels almost exactly like this knife right here. And again, the inside of the handle is where the survival kit goes. And I should probably show you that survival kit, but again, I mean, you can see this knife, what it looks like in my hand. This is dope. I mean, there's not anything that you're going to run into that you can't do with this knife. Um, I would have to say maybe the exception would be some very fine carving and details because of the bulk of the knife. He does sell a small mini version. He calls it a neck knife, but I have always had it in this sheath. This is a optional sheath. It's not the sheath that it comes with. But man, this sheath is just awesome, and even this MSK1 will fit right down in there. The primitive will fit in there if you would rather upgrade from the antique leather sheath. And on this one, it's got a fire steel, again, the mini neck knife, and then it's got this pouch where I keep a wood tramp gear SFK1 survival fire kit in there, and of course I keep a cigar lighter in there. All right, so but again, a secondary knife is probably going to be necessary if you're going to do finer bushcrafting skills. Let's talk about that survival fire kit. There are 20 different items inside of here, and they all fit down inside of that knife. And I just want to pour them out here for you so you can see them. And again, this is an upgraded kit compared to the first one. I didn't really like the first one all that much. It was okay. Would do in a real pinch if you had to, but he's upgraded this. And let me tell you what the 20 pieces are in this knife. It comes with a water bag, 1 liter capacity. It's food grade. That's that guy right there. There are water purification tablets, that enough to be able to treat a liter of water. The 2 Ranger bands that come with it, you can use it as a fire extender if you need to, or it can hold things together. Comes with a small ferrocerium rod, and these do work. These little guys will work. Just I got big fingers, so I got to really work to be able to get this to do the deed for me. Comes with 3 Battis B fire fuse waterproof fire starters. I love these little things. They really work well. Then it comes with 30 feet of fishing line. It's a wax line, almost a heavy duty dental floss is what it reminds me of. But not only can you use it for fishing, and again, there is 30 feet of this line, but you can use it to fix your gear. You can use it to make a trap, a snare. A lot of things you can do when you have this quality of a line in a small survival kit. It also comes with fishing hooks, 3 split shot fishing sinkers all inside of there. And it also comes with, looks like there's a couple safety pins in this one. It says 1 safety pin. This one comes with 2. And it has a magnetized needle in there for navigation or gear repair. You've got this cork stopper here that you can use for a bobber. You can use it for a compass. You can help build yourself a small floating compass with this. Great. And then the bag that it comes in is waterproof. It's zip bag, and if you want to carry this in your pocket or whatever, you can always use this to start a fire. But I wouldn't. Everything you see here is going to go on the inside of this primitive knife. So that is the survival kit. I think it's a winner, especially when you consider $149 and you're getting all these dope features in here. I didn't really go into detail just a minute ago, but the handles on here are made out of a hardwood instead of the micarta scales. That's another way that he saved you money. This knife is going to need treated. For me, it will be bush butter. I use this all the time, not just because we sell it. It's the best product that I've ever used in my entire life, and I've used a lot of them. But we'll treat the handle, we'll treat the blade, and then I would also recommend, because it is made out of 1075 and a removable handle like it is, I will treat both sides of the scales because it's wood, and I will lay me down a nice layer of the bush butter before I put them back together to keep the rust from migrating, because I'll be getting the knife wet, but I tell you again, this is a great ad, and this is one of 3 new knives that he's come out with. There's 2 more that I'll show you, but I didn't want to make the video too long, you know. But I just want to get out there for you folks that are you know, budget minded. This is a common man's pricing at $149 for a knife of this caliber. So, David, thumbs up from Backwoods Biker and Wood Tramp Outdoors. You did a great job, and I hope this has answered some of your questions for some of you folks that were worried about the D2 and, you know, the high price for the knife. David has answered the bell on this, and it's got a beautiful sheath. I really like this dangler a lot. I like this dangler a lot. He did a great job on this, and again, you know, all of this features for 149 bucks. It's hard to beat that. So I hope this has helped you out, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And sharing knowledge is always important to all of us. So please, I want to hear your comments on this knife. Write them down there. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. Like and share. When you become a subscriber, we put your name in our database that we draw out for free gear every month. You know, and sometimes it's knives. It just depends on what we have, you know. And sometimes it's bush butter, sometimes it's a fire kit. You know, we just want to say thank you, and we draw somebody's name out, and everybody's enjoyed it. So till next time, you guys ride free, you live free, and as always, you be safe out there.